them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Spring storms can unfortunately lead to power outages. While LES line workers go out in the storm, you can stay in, but you can also help by reporting your outage right away online at les.com/report.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine and it will be breezy and warm with an afternoon high around 83. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, a low around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day, a light breezy and warm with the high near 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
That's right. We're back. Hope you missed us at least a little bit. You heard from us last week, but not for a full show. We are back. Full shows all week. One of the best weeks of the year that will conclude Thursday and Friday with March Mayhem down at Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll be down there starting at 11 a.m. all the way through 6 p.m. watching all the games with you. All week long, we'll have chances for you to win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings here during On the Block. In fact, we'll give you your first chance to win $30 here in just a couple of minutes. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. We bring in the tremendous color announcers of Boys State basketball here on 93.7 The Ticket. Eastrick, Jay Foreman. Fellas, what's good? How was your weekend?
Hey, man. It was gravy for me. I enjoyed it. It went fast. I will say that. That was one thing that was for sure. It went absolutely super speedy. But other than that, I enjoyed it. I had a great time calling Class B on throughout the tournament. I heard you did a wonderful job on D1 and D2. I believe D1 and C1. And Jay took care of Class A. So it was good that we had it covered. But shout out to Nick. Nick did a wonderful job of just really knocking out all that. I thought he'd probably lose his voice as intense as some of those games it got, but he did a wonderful job. Shout out to Nick Senick.
You didn't strangle him, Jay? You let him make it all 2 weeks.
No, that's the perfect job for Nick. He talked too much. He just sit there and just talk. The same way that he's in there, I guarantee he does the same thing at home. No, he did.
Got to get reps somehow.
No, he does a great job. Everything was on time. Appreciate Strick coming down there. Then doing the Class A and obviously the different classes throughout the week. I got to see a lot of the players I coached, play or have coached, and then a lot of players that I coached against. Because we usually played up, so we, the seniors and stuff, we'd see them, and it was some good games, good coaching. Give a shout out to the NSAA. They did a good job, really good planning during spring break. I think that I don't know if it seemed like there was more people in attendance, so that's good, and hopefully it helped the downtown economy and so forth and so on. So it was a long 2 weeks.
I thought the crowds were pretty good too.
Yeah,
I gotta say, they traveled well. Even Scotts Bluff came from a long way. They had a good crowd.
Yeah, there was there was places I'd never heard of, like DC Lewis,
DC West.
Yeah, DC West. Yeah, I never heard of them before.
DC West will always have a fond place in my heart because we played them in baseball and they weren't very good back in the day, and clearly have gotten better. Props to them for that. But our coach at the time, his pep talk out just down the right field line was, fellas, we're playing DC West. You don't lose to DC West. Dang. But now you do, and it's not even a mark of shame. So shout out DC West for the glow up.
Yeah, it was good to see, these small towns and the ones that are combined, they came down and represented, then you saw some really good players. And it used to be where a little bit smaller towns, you would think like, okay, well, they might not be good, right? Just because, but there's a lot of skill. There's a lot of good players, a lot of good coaching. So it takes a lot of, selfless acts to go out and coach. And it was good to see a lot of kids that go out there and play.
Good basketball, great sponsors. Really appreciate everyone who helped make state basketball possible here on 93.7 The Ticket. Looking forward to it next year. We'll talk some more college hoops coming up here in just a little bit, but we have some Nebraska football stuff to get to here in hour number one. Of course, it is St. Patrick's Day. Before we get into that, though, I do want to ask this first question to the text line, 402-464-5685. First person in with the right answer will win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. 2 years ago today, on March 17th, Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue in a 16-1 upset of Purdue. That head coach was just fired from Iona today. Who was the head coach of Fairleigh Dickinson who just got fired by Iona? Let me know, 402-464-5685. Ryan Bader, you are in. You win the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. The answer is Tobin Anderson. We'll put your name on that. Hope you can come by and see us Thursday or Friday. All right, let's jump into some Husker football here. St. Patrick's Day green got me thinking about green jerseys, right? Nebraska quarterbacks wearing green jerseys in spring practice that starts next week. Let's start with the presumptive starter, guys. Dylan Raiola. If there's one thing that you want to see from him in spring ball, something that he's improved since last fall throughout the winter into the spring, what's the one area you're going to be watching for number 15?
I think it's I don't think it's in anything in particular. I think it's just natural progression. I'd like to think that he thinks that he has a better command of the offense. So I think that he would be maybe more decisive, so maybe a little bit, faster. But I just think, really, you just want to see just another step in the right, big step in the right direction. I think the first time you go through spring ball, you're kind of prancing around. Because you're trying to figure out what time practice starts. To be honest with you, meeting times. All right, well, how much time do I really need to get to practice? Okay, I'm out here 20 minutes extra or 30 minutes early. Nobody's out here. I actually probably only need to be out here 10 because my receivers are getting treatment or whatever. It's like with a shoot, in the NBA, when do I really need to
right. Yeah, depending on what you want to do.
Until you know which ball boy or assistant coach or development coach that knows I'm going to get with Strick at 3:10 and practice starts at 3:45, whatever it is. So now I think that now he knows all that stuff. Then you'd like to think everything that comes with that, knowing you're on solid ground, that you can really level up and get your whole game right, better. And that's just coming from in and out of the huddle, being able to put the the end tags on plays. Essentially, you don't. I mean, obviously in basketball, you didn't have a whole bunch of. You guys had like small names of plays or sets. Where football can get very extensive. When you take the next step, is if you went hawk open 7, be alert 4, kick 8, and vice on the backside. So when it's in this case for that defense, when it's 3rd and 5 to 9, you put the last 2 tags on there. That gives you an extra 4 or 5 seconds to really communicate. So offensively, that's what you.
Yeah, because you don't have to communicate based on the set. You've already
you already done it.
Based on
and then now you can talk about stuff that's about to happen, which then will lead to ideally better execution, more rhythm, and then hopefully off to the races.
Yeah, I think Austin for me and Jay as well. I think looking at Dylan, I agree with Jay. That was kind of what I was going to say as well. Just natural progressions. One, a progression of being able to understand pre-snap what you got, what are your possibilities on what they're gonna do, because they threw a lot of stuff at him as a freshman. And listen, that's the transition of speed of game is significantly different. This is one of the things I believe. I used to always be upset about it because I knew as a freshman I could play as varsity. I mean, I was 6'3", 195. I was physical enough, but not everybody is.
Right.
Right. And so I get that. Right. I think there's one-off situations and I understand it. But at the same time, that's that speed. Here's what Dylan's been dealing with. You in most cases, I'm not going to say all, unless you're playing a national schedule or you're a perennial elite high school football team to where probably throughout the course of the season, you might see 4 games where you're going to see probably 2 in your area, 2 top 10 top teams in the state. You probably will play. And then if you're playing a national, you're going to probably play like an IMG or, you might play a couple or go out to Texas, depending on if you're Georgia, Florida, you'll play a Georgia, Florida type of matchup. Right. So you're looking at that speed only 4 times. And in most of those instances, you're going to have some of your high level, what's the name of them, Jay? The receivers, the running backs, the skill positions. Yeah. Your skill position guys in a lot of those instances are going to be better than the people that they may have 1 cornerback, but they're probably not going to have 2 lockdowns with a safety that can lock your 3 receivers down, right? So you can make mistakes
and get away
with it in the high school. It's a little bit tougher, and Jay will tell you in the NFL the windows of mistakes are even tinier, right? So he got to experience that in his first year. So what you want to see is the upgrade, a quicker means by which to decipher the things that he's seeing, adjust to any wrinkles that they throw at them, knowing, okay, I'm here, we've got a slant here. If this linebacker blitzes, that ball's gone. If this linebacker remains and goes flat, that ball's gone. If that and be able to process that real quick. And now when you don't see it, get off of it onto the next one and be quick about it. So that's, he can't hold the ball as long. I talked to him, and I know Jay did too. I talked to him over the state tournament when they were there, Emmett and that crew they were there at the game. He likes the line. He believes that he's got solid receivers, but he's looking to see who's going to, emerge and be elite. So he's looking at some good things, and he feels good about what he's seeing. So hopefully they can get it done.
Cubsker, nice to have you back. Welcome back to the show for you. We missed talking to you. Cubsker says, I'd love to see Dylan Raiola improve on knowing when to get out of the pocket and go get the first down with his legs. That's maybe a little bit further down the list for me, but it kind of ties into something I was thinking about that we heard over the offseason was Dylan Raiola is not going to be playing at the same weight. He's going to cut a little bit of that. How much do you think that's going to improve his general athleticism in the pocket and getting out of it?
That what?
Cutting some weight.
Oh, the weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I think you just naturally.
He's a pocket guy.
Yeah, just get quicker. I mean, it could help, but I just think I don't know what his weight was. I don't even know why it's an issue. He's 19 years old, man. You can go walk down Oak Street and lose 10 pounds. I ain't really worried about that. I just think he has to the hardest thing to do, and you see this all the time. Saw it at state tournament because I know a lot of the players, and they're dealing with now when they're trying to play club basketball. You have a little success, and you think you had a lot. With the hardest thing, and it brings everything Strick said in, it brings everything Cupster says in, or me or anybody. When you've had some success, you've got to get out of your own way and start. You know you can do it, and you can refer back to it, but that can't be what you always rely on. Mm-hmm. You have to start over. Now, how is that important? How does that have to deal with your weight? You got to say, okay, I was good here at whatever weight. Well, but let's see if I can keep my weight the same, but maybe I want to be a little leaner. What would that do? Then you say, okay, well, people will say, well, that's the easy answer because you'll be quicker in the pocket. You know it's going to be quicker in the pocket? Because he's going to have a better command in the offense. So he just naturally is going to be able to speed up and play as fast as he wants or as slow as he wants. Sometimes you want your quarterback to play slow. Sometimes you want your quarterback to be able to be slow and to be able to speed it up because that's going to dictate what the defense can do or see. Those are the things that you work on in the spring. You have to have a next level type of thinking when you're going about it. Yeah, you got new receivers. That's going to be probably the thing every year and a half or every 2 seasons. It's going to be constant turnover. So you got to be able to. It should be helping you when you go to the league because dudes are coming left and right. Like in and out of the locker room. So the weight thing is not a big deal unless it just, heck, Jared Lewandowski played. I just wouldn't. That's not a thing to me. The biggest thing for me is the most important thing: playing the position, leading the position. I was listening to
Does this carry over from both basketball and football too, Jay?
Oh, it's the same thing,
right? It's the same thing.
Even
for Zion, it's the same thing,
right? Like. Some guys are just what they used to, wax bodies. You know that great Kendrick. Some dudes just aren't lean.
Oliver Miller, R.I.P.
Right. Yeah, R.I.P. He rest in peace, but he wasn't a wax body. He was big.
Yeah, even me.
You got to be able to command is different. Being a point guard in the first year in your NBA, in the second, is significantly different. And everybody wants to look at stats, but you can average a point less and a half assist more, and you're the better player because the flow of the offense is up. Now you're looking at the points per game magically up but it isn't predicated on you. It's because you're setting up Austin and them. Same with as a quarterback. You want to be more familiar, calling the play, commanding the team, leading an offense. I was listening to what Jason Garrett used to talk about Dan Marino and the step that he went from second year to that third year. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could just tell just when he broke the huddle, like the confidence. And it wasn't cocky. It was confidence. Like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and this is what we going to do. And they talked about when he was in the bowl game, and they asked him, okay, what do you want to do here? Do you want to go for overtime? He's like, no, we're going to win it. Won it on 4th down. That's the difference between being there and not in kind of being in the starting 5 strict.
Yeah.
And be like, I'm the 5th guy, and I don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Versus your senior year in high school. Oh, you at the top of the scouting report. So how you went about your whole spring and summer and off season better be different than what you did the last year, or you're going to get the same results as you did the first year. So it all inclusive.
It's the big things, but it's the little things, right? When I think about playing the position, I think about footwork, right? I think that's got to get cleaned up for the consistency, right? Because if you know what the play is, you know how to run it, but you don't go through it with right mechanics. I mean, how many plays did we talk about last year where it was there, but maybe it was thrown off platform, maybe the feet weren't quite set. And that ties into obviously the physical aspect of playing quarterback, but also the leadership aspect, I think, too, where if the supposed best player on the team, if it's Dylan Raiola's team officially this year, with Ty gone, with Nash gone, with Bullock gone, all those guys, if it's Dylan Raiola's team, he can get better physically by improving those little things. And I think that'll send a good message to the rest of the team that there's not a detail too small to overlook.
I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that you want to see, and that's growth, and that's leadership, and that's taking onus, and also that comes with taking responsibility. I think one of the things I'd love to see a little bit better is when you do go through adversity, which in all seasons at some form or fashion you do, it could be 1 week, it could be a slump, it could be, missing those throws. It's going back to the drawing board or to the tape and understanding what you need to do better. So for me, you want to see, I want to see the body language sometimes change. You know what I'm saying? Like there's times where I could tell that he was getting into his own head. As Jay said, sometimes you got to get out of the way. Sometimes I can see that with his body language. Sometimes you got to go to the sideline, even though you feeling some kind of way, and maybe it wasn't even your fault. Maybe it was a drop pass. Sometimes you got to go to the sideline and just give him some positive affirmations, or let him know, that's all right.
Get the next
I'll take the onus of that. I led you a little bit too far, even though you didn't. But just little things like that, because it's going to breed this connection and confidence in the leadership that you're providing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that just comes with maturity, and I'm gonna tell you what people are saying. We paying you not to be immature, but really, that's what it is. That's what be honest with you. I mean, that's the real world, cut and dry, black and white, honest to God truth. So ultimately, with him and everybody on the team, everybody's got to start over and they got to get better. You ain't done nothing yet. Now you made a big step in the right direction. Now you got to take another big step in the right direction again. And it can't be the same rinse and repeat. And there will be higher expectations. I don't like expectations. I don't like the word expectations. I like standard. Expectations change on your emotion.
Like motivation.
Yeah, but I like discipline. I like standard. Expectations is how a younger player will get in his head, and you wonder why you play so good in one game, and then in the next game, the next day in a back-to-back NBA, and you're like, he can't look like he can walk and chew gum because he has the expectations of what happened yesterday. Because that's what you're thinking about while you're playing. Like you play Chicago, you have 18 points. You go to Minneapolis, and it's the middle of the third quarter, and you're looking at 2, and you won a 6. That's expectations because you're expecting the same result. The standard is I'm showing up prepared to play every single game, and that's how you're going to practice. That's how you're going to train. So what you're doing is just a byproduct of what you've done millions and millions of times. Expectations and emotions, that's where you're like, man, it's nice outside. I'm going to cut my workout a little short. I want to go chill. Right? And so I think really that's what everybody needs to practice. And once they do that, they'll be just fine.
Good stuff there.
Ideally.
Right. Good stuff there on the Nebraska football quarterback position. We're going to turn our attention to some recruiting. We'll get some of Brian Munson's thoughts on this. And Husker Online was going through their in-state tour. We'll talk to Brian Munson of Husker Online about that and plenty more when we get back here to On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Hey volleybalfans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you have been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call for a free consultation and find out how Liberty Law can protect your rights and interests. That's 877-42-LIBERTY, 877-42-LIBERTY, or visit libertylawnebraska.com. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Spring storms can unfortunately lead to power outages. While LES line workers go out in the storm, you can stay in, but you can also help by reporting your outage right away online at les.com/report.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 11th annual Street Festival. The party starts on Saturday, March 15th, with tons of giveaways, a kilt contest, great Irish food, and green beer, and continues on Monday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 11 a.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Monday, and the street party starts at 2 p.m. both days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's 8th and P in the Haymarket.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We are back on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland, and Jay Foreman with you here. It's been a minute, but we are headed to our Allo Fiber VIP line, where we're going to talk with one of our favorites. Brian Munson of Husker Online joins us on our VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Brian, what's up?
Hey, long time no speak, buddy.
No kidding. How you been?
Hanging in there, man. You know, weather finally got warm down here, so people are kind of moving outside, doing their things a little bit. I actually had to start my yard work yesterday, so yeah, it's that kind of getting nice really quick, and there's 100 billion pounds of pollen in the air, too, so that goes on top of everything else.
Because you're an allergies guy, right? We're in that boat together?
We are an allergies family. I'm impacted by some different ones that my wife and my son are impacted by. So it's like I get sick first, they get it after that. Then all of a sudden, like there's literally a grass pollen. The grass pollen gets me, and then they get like certain trees, and I get certain other trees. So it's really weird. Yeah, it's really weird. But yes, we are an allergy family. Yeah, we celebrate it here.
Do you celebrate allergies or St. Patrick's Day more?
Well, my wife's last name is Sullivan, so we've definitely got some Irish ties. So yeah, we definitely are an observant St. Patty's Day family.
Does that include corned beef?
No. I don't mind it, honestly. My first experience with corned beef hash was in an MRE in the Army. Probably not the best version of corned beef hash at all, but Uncle Sam didn't do too bad with that.
Fair enough. My first experience with corned beef that I remember was I had a corned beef sandwich before a track meet, and you can about imagine how that went down or didn't go down.
Oh, goodness. I bet you moved fast for part of that.
Part of it, and very, very much not fast for the other part of it. So we'll leave the talk about corned beef in the past. While we're talking about green and St. Patrick's Day here, Brian, let's talk about the guys that are going to be wearing the green jerseys for Nebraska football coming up here with spring football in about a week. Let's start with the presumptive starter. No reason to believe he won't be in Dylan Raiola. When you look at number 15 from last fall to spring ball now and then through spring ball, is there any area of improvement that you're going to be watching with a close eye for Dylan Raiola to see what kind of stride he's made?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the comfort level. I mean, talk about a dude that was drinking from the fire hose, drinking from the hydrant, just the pressure that was there to walk off the field at Buford, basically assume the position, since he got to Lincoln and be that starter. I mean, I kind of look forward to look, I want the game to slow down for him some. I want him to make some better decisions. And I think honestly, it's like, look, you had this short window of time, and I think everybody understands that it's going to benefit him a lot for being around in Lincoln now for another, 6-8 months before he got back on the football field, from a clearly like a physical development perspective. Put him back into the SNC, let him get kind of his body under control. He's 17, 18 years old. Those kids' bodies are still growing. They're still filling out. They're doing a lot of different things. So he needs to stay in that system, stay in that program, get his body physically ready for playing a grueling Big Ten conference schedule, which he obviously knows about now. Mm-hmm. And then I think it's obviously look, the decision making, getting a little bit more tuned in what's kind of going through Holgerson's head, getting to know, his new wide receivers, because there's been quite the little, merry-go-round system that's been going on there at that position now for the last couple of years. It seems like Nebraska is very cyclical in grabbing a couple of portal transfer guys. They don't stick around, and then you're back to kind of doing it again. I think there's been some guys like he can, form some relationships around, the guys that'll be there for, the next couple of years, like a Ja'Cory Barney and Carter Nelson. Carter's kind of coming back from an injury, but like a Harburg, et cetera, like guys that he's, like that. But then like getting to know the portal guys too is going to be very, very important.
You mentioned the name Harburg. That's a tight end now, not a quarterback. He won't be wearing a green jersey for the first time in a while at spring ball. When you look at Nebraska's backups behind Dylan Raiola, how comfortable are you with, like, say, Marcos Davila and the rest of Nebraska's backup quarterbacks?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to come out and say it, but I mean, if there was and heaven forbid, and I don't want to be the one to jinx it. So if there was a long-term injury to Dylan, I'd have to think that Heinrich is going to get pulled back into the room, number one. I think number two, Nebraska did a pretty good job of going out, like, in addressing the departure of Kalen, number one, which I think obviously is one of those hits that I think a lot of people probably, you and I talked about it. How do these two guys coexist? How does this work out? Like, what's the benefit here? Like, what's going to happen? And obviously it played out right in front of our eyes, but I think that room is a really interesting room because you still have Gramstad, who's like a NAIA, player of the year kind of guy. He comes back for a 6th year of eligibility to Nebraska. So you got a bit of a rock there. And I think that's a good thing for Nebraska to kind of have him back in the room. And then, of course, you mentioned Davila, coming in from Purdue. He's originally a Midland, Texas guy. He's a solid dude. And you get Lateef coming in, another Elite 11 quarterback from California. And you've got a couple guys there, Longvall and Sukup. I mean, the room honestly is a really, really, really deep room without even putting Harburg back in it. But I think it's a talented group, and I think it's the kind of room right now that Nebraska has to be really, really fond of.
Hey, how you doing, B-Monts? Oh, I know the weather's down there is lovely outside of the pollen blowing you up, but it's all good.
You know how it gets down here in March sometimes.
I do.
Man. If we're not dodging tornadoes, we're dodging 90-degree temperatures already.
Exactly.
So.
Schizophrenic. It'll be 90 and then it'll be 60. It's crazy.
It's all over the place.
So listen, CJ Brono, who is a 2026 receiver. He's down at the Under Armour Next Orlando, runs a 4.39, and I've been hearing that there's a lot of people jumping on him, with trying to land him, even though he is a Nebraska recruit. What do you think Nebraska is going to have to do to retain the young man? Because he's getting great eyes starting to peek in on him right now.
Oh no, absolutely, dude. And he's what a great kid to talk to. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really, really tough for Nebraska. I think that, when he committed back in October, November, he committed based on, I think, the merits of Nebraska. And I think that that's something that people need to kind of remember, because I've had a good heart-to-heart with him. Like, dude, you got all these other schools. Oregon's walked in and thrown an offer down. He's ripping off these amazing 4.39s and what was it, a 10.2 or something like that to kind of go on top of it. And he has tremendous length. He's got an ability, like you said, he could play wide receiver. I think Nebraska kind of sees him more as kind of a boundary cornerback, as a guy that you could really stick out there on the island and not have to worry about him too much. But I think the difficulty here, obviously, is that he's become incredibly popular. He is going to take other visits, so he's going to really make some people uncomfortable with how the process kind of moves forward, because he's talked about seeing Wisconsin and he likes Indiana. He's got actually a lot of Big Ten schools kind of on his radar, which may actually be of some benefit to Nebraska. I think that they're going to compare, maybe a lot more favorably than maybe like some of the SEC schools were that are a little bit closer to home potentially. So it's going to be interesting, because I think what you've got there, I think Nebraska sold itself to him after his unofficial visit that was where, you know, he felt comfortable. And that was like an immediate kind of like, not immediate, but 3 weeks after he took his unofficial visit, he pulled the trigger. It was really out of left field. And I think as kind of a thing to kind of tie that back to, I think that having that feeling like when he was at Nebraska and kind of feeling like he was at home, you kind of hope it carries through, but Nebraska cannot obviously rest on that. They're going to have to get the guy back, make sure he still feels at home. And it's going to be a challenge, I think, all the way up to signing day in December to kind of keep him in the boat. So not a guy, I think, that wants to do a lot of wheeling and dealing. I think that I think he's a guy that still wants to make a decision and kind of stick with it. But I think the attention, you know, has been very difficult or impossible for him to kind of overlook based on the schools that started traveling through in the January, February timeline. His Twitter, it seemed like every day there was a new coach there, a new school, new offers, and then of course spring track, and now all of a sudden the camp and combine and 7-on-7 seasons have kind of opened up, and he's just again flourished through all of those different types of events.
Brian, what's got to be different for Nebraska with Brona compared to prospects like Carlin Jones or Kawan Lacey? How can Nebraska seal the deal with this one?
Oh man, that's a really, really good question. I think that what you have got to drive home is that you have somebody that's there now in your coaching staff that has worked at the professional level of the NFL, that you've got a guy that can kind of tell you what you need to do, what the pros do, so you can be successful, so you can move on from Nebraska and you could take that next step and do like all the people that kind of envision themselves going to college to play college football. The end goal is not just to walk out on senior day, it's to hear your name being drafted and going up there to see Goodell or getting that phone call from an owner. That's the next step after you have that moment, those 4 or 5 years in Nebraska. So I think the big thing for him is to realize that you have that really fun, exciting defense that you can go put up a lot of stats and do well in, and you have those professional ties that can help guide you to get you to the NFL.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online here on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber. Been a big couple weeks here for Husker Online. Brian, of course, with the in-state tour going on. Excited to pick your brain, get some thoughts on that. Let's just start here in the capital city, where there's one prospect in the entire city with a power conference offer. That's Tyrell Chapman of Lincoln North Star. What's up with Lincoln? The city that houses Nebraska football has one player with a power conference offer.
Yeah, it is a bit of a down year, although we did go to Southeast, and Southeast has got some guys too. And honestly, the kid at North Star, he's a good looking dude. You know, he's got more things coming. Trust me, that's definitely going to happen. As far as like the talent level, I mean, you've seen guys like Purify leave, you know, and move to Omaha. You did get some move-ins, like you got Sim that moved in from Grand Island, to Lincoln Southeast. That's going to be an interesting dude to watch. You know, a very talented guy. But definitely there's a talent differential right now between Lincoln and Omaha, and it's pretty night and day. And I think it does get to where you have some cycles, like where you're seeing a lot of like the power teams, like it's moved from, you know, Southeast over to West Side, to, you know, from Gretna to West Side, or now over to Millard South. But you know, it is cyclical. It will move around, and you will have teams kind of bubble up from time to time. But it seems like right now the Omaha teams are definitely the strongest. That's the way it kind of looked as well, like when we had all the teams out there at the in-state tour a few weeks back.
We'll get back to Omaha in a second, but Brian, I have to tell you, I wish you could be in the studio with us. There's a young lady walking by with a UNK t-shirt on.
Well, maybe she's a wrestling fan. National champs right there. So, and obviously the kiddo being out there, being a staff member, he's going to have surgery on Wednesday, and ooh. I'm a former Loper too, so yeah, that's awesome. Go Lopers!
Best of luck with the surgery to your young man there. Back to Omaha, then. We've seen kind of a rotation in the top schools for football for the last handful of years, right? It was Bellevue West for a while, Omaha West Side, Millard South in the conversation for that last year. Any of those schools stand out for you guys with the talent? Do you think there's going to be another top dog in Class A this season?
Millard South looks incredible. I mean, when they came in, I think they had 20 plus players, and you're led by Isaac Jensen and Jet Tamala and you have, so many other guys like Amarian Jackson and Landon Von Seegern and Nelson Wheeler and Deshaun Prince on that team that are just, legitimately are some of the best players, at their position in the state. I mean, obviously, and Von Seegern's committed to Illinois, and Jackson's committed to Iowa State now, and Wheeler's been committed to NIU for a while, but he's still picking up interest from other schools. I think Westside is going to have some things to say. I think that their defense looks good. I think that they have some guys on the offensive line like Owen James and Hudson Reed that are going to be very, very, very talented and are going to be able to play well. And the Elkhorn North, I mean, if you're kind of going from like unit to unit and just kind of saying that stuff, I think that those teams obviously pass the eyeball test the most. But when you get to like Elkhorn North, really, really interesting thing going on at Elkhorn North, because you've obviously got Jace Reynolds there that Nebraska's offered as a linebacker. But then you have, Nebraska legacy Barry Freeze, who's also a linebacker target and has, picked up offers from like Iowa State and Lindenwood. He came in at a solid 6'3" and like 232 pounds. He is a really, 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 good sized kid, but there's a couple other things to kind of pass along too. I love the fact that the size is coming back to Nebraska. There's been just kind of this, where the size, the offensive tackles just have not been there. I think they've been historically more interior offensive linemen. You got Matt Erickson, who's a transfer back over to Millard North, who came in at 6'8" and 270 pounds. Woo. He was an absolute monster to look up at. But you got like Ty Tessendorf from Blair and Steve Grabowski. Both those guys were both like 6'4" and 270. It was really encouraging to see some of these younger, like those are all three of those guys are 2027 guys. I mean, Erickson's got the D1 offer from Nebraska. Tessendorf's going to be a dude, and I'm going to actually do a story on Grabowski for tonight, right after this call. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and get to working on it. But Grabowski is a name that Nebraska fans need to get to know. Good-looking player out of Millard South.
How about this? We'll catch you loose right here. You answered all our questions and more, and we'll definitely direct people to HuskerOnline.com to read that article tonight. Brian Munson of Husker Online, thanks as always for your time, good sir. Keep fighting those allergies. Fight the good fight, my man.
Good to talk to you guys. We'll talk soon.
Yes, we will. Brian joined us on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Again, don't forget, head to Husker Online later tonight. I'm sure check out Brian's Twitter, Brian Munson _ on X. That way you can find the article when it drops. We'll go to break. Wrap up Hour 1 of On the Block in just a moment.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine, and it will be breezy and warm with an afternoon high around 83. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, a low around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day, a light breezy and warm, with the high near 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Big thanks to Brian Munson of Husker Online for joining us here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Done with football. We're back to basketball for the rest of the day, almost exclusively here. Starting off with some bracket drama. Not the NCAA tournament, but the CBI in the NIT. How about this, guys? So UC Riverside at one point was locked into playing two different tournaments. They were in the CBI bracket, and then the NIT went ahead and put them in their bracket too. Would you like to see a team play in two different postseason tournaments?
That means that a lot of people like you.
Tricky, you look confused.
Nothing.
I'm trying to understand the question again. Break it down for me one more time.
UC Riverside was a team.
Right.
They had agreed to join the CBI postseason tournament.
Right.
But then the NIT, when the NIT released its bracket, UC Riverside was in the NIT bracket. Would you like to see a team try to play in two different postseason tournaments at some point?
Ooh.
Get the reps in.
Does that work?
Well, I mean, they ain't Deion Sanders, jumping on a helicopter and just flying over to one stadium to the next. That ain't how that one's work. Again, that's a difficult thing to do, but I if you want to challenge your team, why not? You know what I'm saying? And I can assure you the players would be like, they would love it because they're like more games. You got to think about how players think about it. I don't know how much we realize we're in the AAU generation. And these young men are used to.
Are they used to?
I mean, just playing games.
Yeah, so it don't mean as much.
Right. So to them, they just want to play.
Yeah, we just took an L.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, cool. They just want to play.
They were like, we was vibing though.
Right? They looking at it. We got to go here and there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The brothers just be out there vibing most times.
This story gets worse. So Riverside accepts the CBI bid. The NIT calls South Alabama and says, "You're in the NIT." Head coach Richie Riley meets with his team and says, "Hey guys, we're going to go to the NIT." And then half an hour later, the NIT calls and says, "Nope, just kidding. We don't have a spot for you anymore."
Oh, that's horrible.
That's cold-blooded.
That's cold-blooded after you done told your team. Oh.
You know you're getting parent emails.
Oh,
right,
because they probably went and started planning, booking.
They just want him fired just because their kid was mad. That's cold-blooded. They got to give a fee though, right? They got to send him something.
They got a whopping apology. But I think what you can do is just have an NIT play it, right? Whoever you gave the spot to, have them play South Alabama. Why not that?
I think it would bring. Look.
Agreement too.
I think tournaments like that are offshoots of which is the big boy, the NCAA. I think they got to figure out ways to create some buzz around what they're doing. The CBI, I think they jump in the mix because of probably more money. I don't know. I could be wrong.
That's supposed to be the college basketball crown that we'll get to. The Fox.
Oh, is it different? That's another one?
Because what we've had the NCAA tournament, NIT, then we also had for a while the CIT, College Invitational Tournament, and now we have the CBI, which is the College Basketball Invitational.
Oh, they all about
It's
money.
Essentially the Pinstripe Bowl of postseason.
Yeah, these are money. These are money grabs. These are money grabs. Some of these tournaments, but they got to figure out how to differentiate themselves. Yes, the lower type teams, like they're going to feel excited about being able to go and do some form of postseason play. But what I think you'll realize is that you're not going to have the draws. Pause. Not draws. The draws. That is needed for those teams to travel. So you're going to probably want to make sure that they're in a destination, i.e. Vegas, like the Crown's doing. Or you're going to have to figure out something like Jay just said with the NIT, throw in a playing game. Like you want to make sure you're the next best thing to the NCAA tournament.
Let's talk about that next, because Nebraska did accept its invite to the College Basketball Crown event in Vegas at the end of March, but we have 14 teams that said no thank you to the NIT. Let's get into a couple of them. Is that the right or wrong decision for them? And then Nebraska's postseason ahead right after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine, and it will be breezy and warm with an afternoon high around 83. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, a low around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day, a light breezy and warm with the high near 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you have been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call for a free consultation and find out how Liberty Law can protect your rights and interests. That's 877-42-LIBERTY, 877-42-LIBERTY, or visit libertylawnebraska.com. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Let's get it. Hour 2 of the show comes your way here on a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Not a cloud in the sky here at 1040 O Street. Excited to be back with you for 2-hour shows all week long. Brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Jay, what do they have at the Mercado?
Oh, they got Tomahawk Steak. That's all that matters.
You're on the Tomahawks right now?
I'm always on the Tomahawk.
You grilling tonight?
Rain, sleet, or snow. No, I'm not grilling tonight.
Tomorrow?
probably.
Nice.
Might even today.
Hey,
But
don't forget we do have a show tomorrow, fellas.
What?
Yeah.
No, it's Tuesday, dog. I'm off.
Not tomorrow, you're not. Wrestling's heading to Philly. We got a full show tomorrow.
Full show tomorrow.
We got a full show. 3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Hey, no. So here's the thing, though. If there's a blizzard, Stricky no show. Stricky remote.
Stricky stay here tomorrow night. So Stricky ready for Wednesday.
That's a cap. Don't make.
We got a condo.
Do I need to get the call?
We got a condo across the hall.
Do I need to call Jay?
We got the condo across the hall. The rest of us
There's
can
a
make
show
it into
tomorrow?
work. Yeah, we got a show tomorrow, 3 to 5.
There is a show.
Cool. Okay.
We're excited.
And
We're
I'm
happy
excited about it.
Yeah.
But
Got lots to get to. Lots to cover.
Stricky would not be sitting in blizzard weather, though. Can't do it.
You also can't say no to the NIT, Stricky. Your team went. You
We
won
went,
the NIT
baby.
championship. There have been a number of teams that have told the NIT no, including Butler, Georgetown, LSU, Nevada, Northwestern, Pitt, Providence, Rutgers, South Carolina, and Wake Forest. Those teams, I don't really understand saying no. The teams that I can kind of get behind saying no are Florida State with a coaching change, Indiana with a coaching search underway. You look at UNLV that just fired their coach, and Villanova, who fired their coach as well. Stricky, we'll start with you. What did that NIT run mean to you and your guys?
Okay. So that's where you've got to really look at it and assess it as a coach and as a team, right? You can go usually, not always, but you can usually go back and track teams that were right there on the cusp, what they did in postseason play, and you will look at a lot of teams that won NCAA tournaments, came back, and usually was good enough to get into the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's invaluable lessons you learn by going that deep into a tournament, right? There was a lot of lessons we learned by winning winning the
NIT,
the Big
Big
Ten,
Eight.
the Big Eight tournament championship,
Mhm.
which then progressed when we got there. It was we knew what it took to win, right? And it's kind of a progressive thing. So they have to look at it from that standpoint. They have to look at it and assess, what can we get out of this? What do we have coming back? That's the hard part, is now you've got NIL. Rosters, what they look like today may not look the same tomorrow. Whereas when we were there,
You couldn't go nowhere.
you knew who you had coming back.
Yeah.
You knew who you had coming in. You can assess what you're going to be able to do and what you're working with. You can look at the landscape of whatever the conference you were in, us being a Big Eight and them soon after the Big 12. So yeah, that's how you got to look at it. What can we get out of it by going to it? So,
and it wasn't the season you guys wanted, but it paid off in a big way because
Yeah.
you were still motivated to play. When you look at something that's not the NCAA tournament, how big a part of playing in those tournaments is the motivation for who goes further?
well, I think that's one thing that Jay will be able to speak to with regards to bowl games. Bowl games had a significant feel to them some time ago. You went to a bowl game, it was an excitement around the city, the school. It didn't matter. You went to a bowl game. That everybody was getting excited about that. Whereas now it's very similar, that a lot of people can get this feeling of 1, 2, 3 Cancun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's the middle. It's break time.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, I just think
And what can you really do now? Then it wasn't a thing. It was a thing, Jay, for what it can do. For me, I looked at it like, we go deep, we win. It's going to put me on the radar for potential NBA looks. Going up to New York, guess what? A lot of NBA people, scouts, all of that was there, and playing in the Garden in that time, it's kind of a thing. It's very similar to what the Big East tournament would do for a lot of those players. They make their name there, right?
yeah.
So that's kind of how I looked at it, and we looked at it as a team.
Yeah, I just think, if you have a good, solid program, I think also, and now I know, I don't know when the transfer portal is open for basketball, but I imagine it's sometime after
A week from today. It opens on the
those who are
24th
not
of March.
playing have an advantage, basically.
Yeah, so so I'm sure that weighs it in, and I don't know if they get paid if they're in the NIT. I don't know if there's any bonuses towards it where you could potentially maybe chip the players off a little kind of stay bonus based on what you get. It's not like a bowl game. You got you get bowl money. I guess I would look at it like if I'm trying to recruit players and I'm calling Eric and I'm saying, hey, look, this is how we can use you. And say you're even in the portal, you can see it one more time. You can see me on TV, see the program. So it maybe be that lasting impression, etched in your brain for when you do hopefully come to my school in the portal. But it's drastically changed. I think you see it all the time in club basketball. It's not AAU anymore because it's just club basketball. You got to do different shoe circuits. There's a lot of games. Less practice and fundamentals, a lot of politics in it. So what it does, it takes away the importance of it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Everybody's got to hustle. You can do whatever you want. And there's always going to be little petty games between whether it's little plots or pots of organizations or plots and pots of parents and kids. That's the way it is. That's just life. But what that does is when you get to college, it's like when you hear kids talk about getting recruited. It's a big deal whether you get to go play a sport at Division III, NAIA, Division II, or whatever it is, and obviously Power 4, FCS. Now it's like Power 4 or bust, even higher. Like no matter, as soon as you score your first touchdown in high school, you think you go in like top 10 Power 4. Okay, as soon as you have a dunk, and as soon as you get some dude telling you that you're going to be the next LeBron, then that's it. Then everything else is like, oh, it's a letdown. When in reality, once the music stops, then you start to appreciate it. It's too late. So
even when you go D3, you're still in the top 2% of athletes in your sport.
Yeah, and you forget that because you want to know why? They already think they're the top 2% of athletes at 6th grade. You have guys getting ranked in 2nd grade. You have guys getting ranked in 4th grade. I mean, Tilly Poo, and so I think it just kind of I think it starts at the very grassroots part, and then it goes up, and then you be like, all right, do we really want to keep coaching? And then, or because now, since you didn't make the tournament or the tournament that you wanted, then you're like, I got to immediately go and turn the page to next year. Now, it's not just on the coaches looking for other players. There was Danny Hurley was talking about when he did the thing with Gino that he was talking about. It was halfway through the season. I know half my roster is going to be in the portal. And he just won back-to-back national championship. And they talked. So then, therefore, the players are like, all right, I played a season. It didn't work out for us.
Got that UConn smell.
Or just anywhere. Or Pittsburgh or whatever. Oh, it didn't work out. All right, I got it.
Where can I go?
Where can I go next? Right, because the phone's ringing. But then the phone's ringing, and then they're ringing other people's phone as well. So that's why you might see it, because you know what? There's probably some schools out there with some pretty heavy names, like Pittsburgh or, whatever school. They might not have enough players that are actually committed to play, because once they didn't make it, they just said, you know what, now it's on my recruiting tour. They can't really go out there and play. So that's also part of it too. Now that's not going to come out because you always want to try to protect the players. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that, could, change the mind. I just hate it for it because I think the more I always think that the more that you can get in front of people, I think it's the better. You see guys that go to these all-star games in football for college, and they go to like, like there used to be rankings. Like the Hula Bowl was like you go out there and just hang out. Like it's too far for scouts to go. Then the East-West was like right below the Senior Bowl. Well, if you ball out in the Hula Bowl, say you're from a small college, right? Get busy at the East-West, you might be the hot. You might be like, all right, let me get him down here and see if he can really, sink or swim. The next thing you know, you on the big stage. So you never should turn your nose up at an opportunity to showcase your talents.
Right.
If you can.
And that's the boat that I think Nebraska is in heading to the college basketball crown in Vegas. They'll face Arizona State in the first round. Half the roster is done with college basketball the next time Nebraska loses a game. not just in the transfer portal, but done. They honored 7 seniors on Senior Day. And sure, maybe Nebraska can use that for reps. I would like to see college basketball go the same route as college football, where bowl game and postseason, maybe just underneath the NCAA tournament, NIT and below, doesn't count against your eligibility clock, right? Kind of like a bowl game in football. So we could see, hey, what's Nick Janowski been working on? What's Braden Frager been working on? Is there anything in Justin Bolus? But that's not necessarily the case right now. But for Nebraska, Strick, you and I talked about this a number of times. Bryce Williams, he can still show something. He can still prove something at this level. Juwan Gary, does he want to keep playing basketball? Maybe it's Europe, maybe it's overseas. But someone's going to get eyes on him probably at this tournament. Nebraska doesn't have the motivation of let's get our young players experience. Nebraska's motivation is we know we're better than the 1-6 finish, or we believe we're better than the 1-6 finish. Let's go see if we can end our college basketball careers with a better taste in our mouths.
That's it. I mean, that's another piece of it. That's another phase of it. And that's one of the reasons why we did it. That was definitely a part of the discussion as to why we decided to go, is we didn't like where things went, and we wanted to change the narrative. Jay, you understand this. Over time, a lot of people aren't going to look at your resume and say, oh, you were the runner-up of the state tournament, or you came in second in the 100-yard dash, or you know what I'm saying? I know Justin Gatlin was frustrated a lot of the times because Usain Bolt was, dominating the landscape, right? And as great as he is, you only as good as your last race or your last hurrah, right? How you go out determines how people are going to view you, right? So a lot of people that I talk to remember the championship, but they do remember parts of the schism that existed, but they don't remember dang, you guys lost that many in a row. You see, they don't remember that part. 10-game losing streak.
Yeah, remember you get it, right?
You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying about getting that.
Yeah, because Nebraska, would Nebraska get a home game?
No, everything's taking place in Vegas. Nebraska played the MGM Grand.
Yeah, I was just thinking that maybe that, seniors get to tee it up one more time. But, I mean, I think if the guys want to play together, I think it's good. And I wish that when you play in these tournaments that aren't NCAA tournaments, that you possibly could play some of your freshmen that redshirted.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like football with the 4 games or something like that. So, but I think also it's more practice time for some of the younger players that are redshirted or guys that you want to see where they're at, because it helps you evaluate in the future, what you're going to go actively get. Because, if Tanji from Wisconsin is not a great selling point of why you work,
mm-hmm.
and you work while you wait,
mm-hmm.
or you go to Colorado State, you don't get a lot of time in Missouri, you go to Wisconsin, you get your opportunity. A lot of his success this year is a byproduct of what he did when he wasn't playing or when he wasn't successful.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is if I'm talking to a kid or a player on Nebraska and, they might be thinking, well, we're not in the big tournament. We did this, we did that, we didn't finish up. Why do I need some time off to practice? That's the first dude I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tanji. I'm talking about, actually, I can even talk about Hunter. I'm just talking about guys that I know that are from around here.
Right.
Talking about Hunter Salas going from essentially 3.8 points a game.
5 minutes a night,
defensive specialist, maybe make a couple transition layups, and then you don't score the next game, going down and going down to Winston-Salem, Wake Forest, then all of a sudden, being all conference, and then he really went off this year. Going from Gonzaga, which is in the middle of nowhere, Washington, down to little like a tobacco town in Winston-Salem, you just don't pick up 17 points a game just in that
on the flight.
On the flight.
Yeah.
You get your peanuts, mm-hmm. your water. You need some little headphones. You got your little TV, and here's 17 more points a game. There's something that happened in between. It might have started there in Gonzaga,
right?
And tripled, and tripled down in Winston-Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Circumstances playing it. A coach plays a different style, but the groundwork is there. That's why it's important for a team like Nebraska to do it, because the coaches can learn stuff. They can try some schemes. They can see a different type of player. I mean, obviously it's Arizona State, and the coach and all that, but it's a different type of athlete. You never know when you're going to go against these players or this coaching staff, or you might have some of these players on your roster next year. We played Charlotte and got Bryce.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, you know, and so it's not, you just don't, you know, the whole thing of just going through the motion. Oh, I'm just here to play. Like, I never understood that.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And these players, I get it. You get, you know, with club basketball, you play a lot of games, and losing, you know, and some of it's part of where they're at in Nebraska because it's significantly different. I talked to, I used to work with a guy named Giovanni Mack. He played in the EYBL. He's from Charlotte. Worked with him a lot. You know, he went and played D1 and all this other stuff. And we were talking, and he was like, you know, the problem is sometimes in the Midwest where you don't have a big, huge city like Charlotte or Atlanta or, you know, Minnesota or something like that, you might play the same team 6 times throughout the schedule year. Well, then you'll be okay with maybe losing because, you know, when you play in a 7-game series in basketball or, you know, in the playoffs, you win 4, you don't care about the 3. We on to the next. Versus when you played and when you were in AAU or when I played Racine, Wisconsin 1 time.
And you remember for the rest of your life.
I ain't never forgot. Once. I played Kenny Cheatham and his team 1 time. I was fortunate enough to play New York Riverside. We played them twice. I played against Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Marcus Nash and those guys once. Sometimes you might see them dudes.
Yeah, a couple times a week.
Right. Me and you get into it in Memphis. Well, we're gonna play 2 weeks.
That's dangerous.
Why? He playing on his team. The tournament's in Memphis.
Getting into it in Memphis is dangerous.
That is true.
That's
But then we'll play. But then we'll play in Dallas in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's the same. That's the difference. But now, if you could really try to build your program like any place, anytime, anywhere, that will magnify through number 14 to number 1 on your roster.
I want to go to the text line here. Starter Human Jewelers text line 402-464-5685. So Brad from Baldwin asks, was Nebraska not asked to this year's NIT? My understanding is no. Nebraska did not get an NIT invite. And I don't know the exact reason for that. I think it could be one of 2 things. Number one is that Nebraska wasn't good enough for the NIT, which strikes me as a little odd given the high caliber of wins that Nebraska had earlier in the year. But I think more likely than not, it's because Nebraska was pretty much always destined for the college basketball crown because that's the one with the Fox tie-in, right? With the Big 12, the Big East, and the Big 10. Think about this. So this is according to the CBS Sports write-up. Only 4 teams from a power conference are playing in the NIT. It's Stanford, Oklahoma State, SMU, and Georgia Tech. That turned into the mid-major invitational like that really quickly. All these power conference teams, even the ACC and SEC team said, nope, sorry, we're good. We're going to focus on building our roster for next year. And then you also look at...
That's that NIL and transfer portal situation. They just like, shoot, let me get first crack at these while Duke and all these other people in the conference. And that's what I'm sorry. But I'm looking at, like, they look at their schedules. They look at where they fell in their rankings, and they're looking at, okay, this is how we got beat. This is how we got killed in the rebounding department. We didn't have enough of athleticism to guard. You know, they're looking at that. And so they're looking at first crack at how can I move from here to here?
Yeah, with 1 or 2 players.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're just like, man, bump an extra game. You know what I mean? I'm sure they'll ask the players. And if you're a coach, you look at the players, you don't look at what their answer is, you look at what their body language is the minute that the question's asked.
You read the room, you don't hear the room.
Some may be like,
about what, playing?
Yeah.
You could just tell when you walk in.
Yeah.
When you walk in the meeting room.
Yeah, you'll be able to look around the room.
You can just tell, like, if you guys are dehydrated, if they look like they've been playing, like, yeah, we can't play.
And that's why I'm so curious to see how Nebraska comes out in this tournament. 2 weeks from today, they'll tip off at, I believe, was it 7:30 Central Time? Because I still think it sounded like Fred Hoiberg wanted postseason more than the players. Maybe they've had a change of heart. I just don't know if that's a switch you can just flip. With
Bro,
2 more weeks of
wants
practice
to get back
before
to
you
Turkey.
play. Right. I'm curious to see how motivated Nebraska is.
Said they didn't want to play?
No.
They didn't say it, but you didn't hear it nearly as much from them as you did from Fred.
Yeah.
Fred sounded like he's the one that wanted to go to the postseason.
Bro,
Which I really respect.
wants to go back to Turkey to spend that NIL money. I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
Well, let's wrap up the segment with this, though.
Hey, man.
It's not the NCAA tournament. It's not the
You gotta get
NIT.
him under control, man.
You're closer to him. You get him under control. You're
I'm
show now,
just
too.
saying, man. That man's
Equal
stealing, man.
ownership.
Let me be quiet. Let's go.
Even though-
I'm hoping he does. I'm hoping he learned a lot from this experience.
Even though the record was a step back, Nebraska's playing in the postseason 2 straight years.
Right.
Is it a successful enough season without being a successful season?
I think it's the floor, the height of the floor. Does that make sense?
This is the lowest part of the ceiling.
Yeah, but I think if we could set the standard that you
should Nebraska play in the
essentially
postseason every year in basketball?
That would be hopefully be the standard.
Okay, then this is the floor.
You want recruits seeing you, right, Jay?
Yeah,
Like that's another thing, because like you said with Bryce, this is how I envision with Bryce, right? We played Bryce. He saw a style of play,
and
he's like, I like that. You know, guys, you're going to be able to possibly touch, and you're all in the same bag.
Yeah,
they might like the way they feel that they can fit.
And Bryce is from Charlotte. Him going to Charlotte is understandable because of the proximity and family and stuff. And so Fred got to see him. Everybody that does the scouting got to see him. Like, okay, I think it's seamless. Put him in the lineup. But I think the standard, it needs to be a standard that say this is the floor, and essentially you're one game away. That's the standard of the floor of the program. That'd be great, right? The problem with when you have expectations, I bring in this thing of emotions. You don't make it this year, and sometimes it just doesn't work because there's plenty of teams in the NFL that, okay, here's an example. The Patriots, they picked up Adalius Thomas from the Baltimore Ravens. You couldn't have told me that he wouldn't have been and turned into a legendary Patriot based on his skill set, what he displayed with the Baltimore Ravens. And when he got up there, he was Casper the Ghost. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it just doesn't mix right.
Yeah.
And when you have like expectations, you bring in a lot of emotions, then your first reaction is fire everybody, get rid of all the players. Well, some guys just need to play better. Some guys need to invest more and be more in tune. And then, yeah, sure, you can add, okay, we need actually this type of shooter or this type of point or this type of small forward, stretch forward. That's fine because that's every year. But when you bring in the expectations, then it's just like, okay, well, we made it last year and we didn't make it this year. Everybody needs to be gone. Within 9 months ago, you was like, man, everybody needs to be here forever. So it can't change that. That's what you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if this is the floor or the standard of the floor, you'll be fine. Same thing with football. Now, granted, I'm not saying you don't make adjustments, right? And I think if you do things the right way, I think it's really simple when you coach. You work hard, you do things, as much as you can the right way. You treat people good, you'll win all the time. That doesn't mean you're going to win.
I mean, you can just look at programs, man. You can look at programs, and I know we got to go to break in a sec, but I'm just going to throw this out to both of you. You look at programs, and at some point in the juncture of your processing and thinking about it, you've got to say what differentiates them from us. Are you saying they have more talent than us? And then you have to look at a team like Drake, who took dang near a whole roster of D2 players that no one believed in.
D2 winners, but still D2.
D2 winner. Same thing. You can look at Indiana the same way.
For FCS?
You see what I'm saying?
The Signetti?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, what is a differentiator about what you were able to bring over?
I know what it is.
And turn them in, right? And then look at your program or look internally and say, what is it about me as a coach that I'm not doing, that I'm not getting the most? I'm not maximizing the effort out of my guys, but these guys are. So I think it's also, you got to look at the coach. I don't think it's always players.
Oh, yeah,
then maybe you need to get a certain type of player to fit what,
Or you do the Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
And I know this factual. Lane is a very unique individual and always has been. I'm talking about he ain't changed at all. Listen, when I tell you he's unique, he is unique.
Mm-hmm.
With capital U.
The best thing that he learned, and he must have learned from Nick Saban, he has somebody else that's the opposite that can do everything that he's weak in.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the answer. I think you can't compare yourself like to Drake in football with Indiana because one, it's a snapshot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's not like a family book history. But the biggest thing that they've had, and we saw this last year with Oakland, they've had continuity.
That's good.
Because
they've been together.
Right, they've been together.
Yeah.
So them giving it, know, me and Strick coming down, I give a Strick the head nod. You knew to change your speed. Boom, fast break layup. Hey, Strick, I'm struggling a little bit. Go take Austin. And we don't have to have those conversations. Right?
That's good.
But that's I think that's a big part of it. But you want to strive to that. But I think you strive to it in your own vacuum because I think at a bigger school you won't get that continuity.
Is that operate individually, think collectively?
Yeah. But then you just got to make sure it works, man. It's hard because you could have 3 dudes. You could have 5 the starters. 2 guys leave, go to the pros or whatever. 3 dudes coming back. You could do strength test analyzer. You could have, I call them drive-by analyzer, where Strick has a conversation with me and I don't even know who Strick is and everybody in there, but it just doesn't mix because some Uncle Rollo is in Johnny's ear. All of a sudden Austin ain't as good as you. And you know what I'm saying?
See, this is what I've been. You
get what I'm saying?
This is why I'm saying what I said about the us, Jay. Like
Right.
guys, like I'm not saying us per se,
Right.
but I'm saying you should have something on your coaching staff that goes beyond just the testing, the measurables, the running, the side to side. Just because there's deeper things. Because I should be able to go and find out, which most coaches can't do on a regular because they've got so many. But these other parts of the team can interact with the coaches, really dig into what their family dynamic is, really ask deeper questions so you can know the archetype beyond what you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
so
think-
you know
yeah.
what you're getting.
Yeah.
Does this mesh? I think he would clash with him because of this.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know these further details. You make the decision. But
Or something
here's
you
some,
pick up on or something like
you
that.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 'cause it's-
Watching his body language
yeah,
on the
'cause
court,
it's
how
big.
he deals
Yeah.
with his players at games, that could be an issue.
Right.
So that's what I was saying about guys
or
like us.
somebody being able, and you don't want the players to be on notice to where they feel like you're always being watched, because then you're going to get a fake thing. It's like when people do the interviews at the combine. I don't know how you fail an interview at the combine. You just answering questions. You want me to lie to you? You want me to answer you the question? Because if you want me to lie to you, then you're going to get a fake player. I think also is the big thing of, and I learned this trick, and you see football players a lot more in the airports and stuff like that. I can pick out a former football player out of a lineup like that. You can pick up a former basketball player out of a lineup like that. Why is that important? You know what it means when they move in a certain way, and you know what it's like when actually they're in the huddle or listening to point guard, whoever that is, and they actually are listening to. I'm just saying.
He raised his hand like, that's me.
Because if you have somebody that say Austin is a 3-year starter and he's been here, right? Like old buddy from Purdue. And here comes 2 hotshot rookies. I'm a transfer portal guy and you're a freshman. And somebody else is seeing how we interact with him. You're paying attention because you're a wide-eyed freshman. I came in, got a little change in my pocket. Yeah, Austin. 1 pass, jack up 3. Well, then whoever's evaluating will say, look, you got to make sure you nip that in the bud, because when you play against Michigan State, you might not have him in that lineup. And one of the things you said to me one time, Strick, I forget what, I don't know if it was Nebraska, the last play of the game. I think it might have been in the Big Ten tournament. And you said, watch, everybody gets it and they go right-hand drive. And you said that's the worst thing you can do. Every game I watch this weekend and the weekend before, what you think was in my head?
What I said.
Right. To see the difference.
See if they see it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so those are the things. I mean, I just think it's hard, man. I mean, you get it all the time. I'm telling you.
Like guys like Caleb Love, guys like AJ Storr have tremendous seasons. Go somewhere else, the dynamic totally changes.
Yeah. And I mean, it is. And also, and you see this a lot when you talk about club, and all college basketball is club basketball on
Basically.
steroids.
Basically.
Because I'm telling you who the best coaches are, Austin. I know we got to go to break. Okay. You know who the best coaches are? The windshield coaches. Driving you home. Strick don't know nothing. Don't pass to him. I don't like him. Why? I just don't. Because you balling.
That's a fact.
That
happens.
Trust me.
That happens.
It's like the little Mean Girls Club. Don't share.
Did they wear pink on Wednesdays though?
I don't. They do. They just won't show you.
Fair enough. More facts
extra,
after the break on the block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you have been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call for a free consultation and find out how Liberty Law can protect your rights and interests. That's 877-42-LIBERTY, 877-42-LIBERTY, or visit libertylawnebraska.com. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine and it will be breezy and warm with an afternoon high around 83. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and light winds, the low around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day, a light breezy and warm with the high near 79. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com. Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through March 18th is 15% off Wickster Seafood, 25% off Meat Mitch spices and sauces, corned beef for $9.99 per pound, and discounted Reuben brats while supplies last. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
It may not feel like it, but planting season is on its way, and now's the time to upgrade your equipment with a late model John Deere planter from Acres Equipment. Acres has an entire lineup of John Deere planters equipped with the latest technology to ensure planting accuracy throughout your field. And to get you up and going, each planter purchased from Acres includes in-field startup support from one of our Precision Ag professionals. Warmer weather is coming soon, so don't delay. Visit your local Acres for details. Offer expires April 30th, 2025.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Love is in the air, and so are big savings. It's the Big I Do event at Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions, April 4th through the 6th. For 3 days only, enjoy 20% off all engagement rings and wedding bands, plus exclusive bridal collections from our top designers. Whether you're saying yes or I do, shop now for the year's best prices and selection. April 4th through 6th, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, South Point Pavilions.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're back here during On the Block. Austin Orman, Jay Foreman, and Eric Strickland with you for another 20 minutes or so before we get to Old School. This segment of the show is brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Based out of Howell, Nebraska, they offer a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl, triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while keeping their prices affordable. Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more info at 402-430-3852, or you can visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. You can also go make sure you check out the interview we did with Gary Schunkweiler of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. That was a week ago tomorrow. Great chat with Gary. Learned a lot. Hope you got a chance to go out and talk to him at the Husker Lawn and Leisure show over the weekend. We're diving into the NCAA tournament bracket just a little bit here. Fellas, I'll open up the floor for your thoughts before I give my opinion. When you look through the first round, the round of 64, is there a matchup that catches your eye? One you're going to make sure you tune into on Thursday or Friday?
For March Madness?
For March Madness. Any of those first round games in the round of 64?
Man, let me look
I'm
up the
gonna
bracket.
do one just because my homeboy used to play there. My man Eric Crane, representing High Point against Purdue. Purdue probably going to win, but I think High Point going to give him some work. He said High Point going to challenge him a little bit. So that's kind of the emotional tie. The other one, as far as game goes, I want to see Marquette against, was it New Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Shaka against Rich.
Rich.
And I watched New Mexico twice.
What'd you think?
Won't tell you the circumstances because it was late. Okay. One, I was a little wobbly, and the other one I was up in the skies, right? One time, first time I watched them, they didn't look really good. And actually, it was a really bad first half. Then they turned it on right before the second half and then just obliterated. I think it was New Mexico State. They're tough. They're tough, man, and they can score. I think Marquette, obviously, I think will handle them. But I think that just the styles of those two coaches going at it is probably what I really want to watch. I mean, obviously, I think it's a lot of good games and stuff like that. But I just think those two going at it, outside of the obvious of Omaha and all that, I'll take that game.
Eastrick?
We're just talking about Thursday game, right?
Thursday and Friday.
Oh, and
First
Friday.
round.
I mean, there's a few of them. I mean, definitely my boy Crutch. Listen, St. John's is a beast. And they're a beast because they've got dog energy in them and they get after you defensively. And so to me is what I want to see is Omaha going to be able to take the brunt of that and do anything with it. Outside of that one, another one that intrigues me is the Drake, Missouri game. That's going to be one I'm going to have an eye on. And going into Friday, I'm going to actually say Grand Canyon in Maryland.
I like it.
Yeah.
30-game win streak for the Lopes, Ricky.
Yeah. Don't overlook them. I think they're better than what people would think. So
I'm gonna go around the horn here for my games to watch. At least one in each region. Michigan and UC San Diego has my attention. Michigan will cough the ball up 1 out of every 5 possessions, and UC San Diego turns teams over a lot defensively. So I think Michigan could be in a little bit of trouble there, even coming in as the Big Ten champs. East region isn't as intriguing to me. My favorite matchup there is BYU VCU. That's a really fun 6-11 game that I'll have my eyes on.
VCU's got to do no. Is he ever? He's at Tech.
Who are you thinking?
I think he's at Tech, Virginia Tech. But there's a dude that literally goes to the heavens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Is it VCU?
It's the Virginia Tech guy.
It's Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Jay, when I tell you this young buck, he out here looked like Stromile Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Stromile Swift.
Yeah, when he came out. Yeah, when he first
Young
came,
Stromile, he goes up like that. I can't remember his name, but Lord, I'm sorry. I didn't even get off tangent. Go ahead.
Cupsker says he's looking forward to Arkansas versus Kansas.
That's
that whole pod there in
right,
Providence.
yeah.
You get Self Calipari. You get Patino versus Omaha. There are going to be so many fireworks there. I'm excited for that. In the Midwest region, Gonzaga, Georgia is going to be interesting to me, but the 5-12 between Clemson and McNeese, Will Wade, probably the front runner for the North Carolina State job. He's a Clemson alum as well. McNeese was my pick in the 12-5 over Gonzaga last year. They didn't get it done. I'm curious to see if they do it. But really, the entirety of the West region has the eyes for me. I mean, UConn, Oklahoma in an 8-9, that's going to be a track meet, two wildly different teams. Memphis and Colorado State, 12-seed Colorado State opens up as a 2.5-point favorite over AAC champs Memphis in that one. Maryland, Grand Canyon is going to be fascinating. Drake, Missouri is going to be interesting. And then the Kansas, Arkansas. I love that. Let's answer this question here before we go to break. It's from 3994. Who's your big upset this year? Who's on upset alert? Who's your pick? You're calling your shot right now. First round.
Oh, Illinois. If they play against, I think they're right for the picking.
Illinois against which team? Either
matter.
one of them,
Yeah,
Xavier or Texas?
Texas is easier because, they can go talent for talent, and they have some experience of success.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas is a type of team, if they get a win, then next thing you know, they're going to end up being in the Sweet 16. And they got a little swag.
They do.
I'm gonna stick with Grand Canyon, Maryland. I'm gonna go down to that one. I'm gonna stay there.
Little Bryce Drew action as Grand Canyon's coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stay there.
I have my eyes on a few upset picks. I'm not calling my shot here. I'm just telling you the games that I'm monitoring for upsets. Montana comes into the tournament as the luckiest team in college basketball this year, according to Ken Palm's luck factor. They can fill it up from long range. If they get in a shootout with Wisconsin and whoever has the ball last, intrigues me. I don't know if I'm sold on Wisconsin as a 3. Good for the Badgers. They earned it. Kentucky could be in a war with Troy. I'm curious to watch that one. Kentucky does get Lamont Butler back, though, so that might look silly. If there's going to be a 2-seed that goes down, it's going to be Michigan State.
Dang.
Michigan State runs and they rebound well, but what does Bryant do? They shoot the lights out of the ball.
Yeah.
If Bryant shoots it well and can neutralize rebounding advantage and transition advantage, I'm not sold on Michigan State in the half court. They don't shoot it that well. They got a lot of guards. I'm not saying they're on upset alert or anything. I'm just saying if it's going to happen this year, I would watch Michigan State Bryant for a 15-2. And let's not pretend like Michigan State is invulnerable to these.
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Valentine lost to Middle Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
John Cortland says Purdue. That was Jay's pick, too.
Hey.
Does that mess you up knowing is there kind of like a yearly anxiety
if you're
when you're one of those teams that
if you're Virginia, yeah, but they're not in. But I'm saying when Virginia was always losing,
right?
Yeah,
but because don't get it twisted. Without a grown man Zach Edey, they in his last hurrah, I had them the year before. I had them out early. And I made a lot of cashola on that one.
Yeah. I think the thing is really different when you get into these I think styles make fights. That's number one. Coaching styles make fights, right? Because here's the thing and we saw this in the state tournament, and we saw that, or at least the last 2 weeks, giving you if you have a coaching staff that's invested, going up maybe against a more talented team, and it could be just as simple as a couple of days. That game will be tight because it comes down to possessions and it comes down to guard play. And it's just simple numbers. There's more guards walking the face of the earth than 6'5" plus guards. So you can get guys that can get busy because I can guarantee you might go against a UC San Diego or something. And you're like, oh man, that's UC San Diego. Well, they got a couple cats that just maybe went to JUCO and they might only be 6'1", but they can get their shot. And they can get to their mid-range, and they don't turn the ball over. And then the coach is running a certain pattern or offense or certain system that's taking advantage of all the weaknesses that whatever team. And then once it gets tight, the height advantage doesn't matter because all you need is 3 rebounds. And that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You say, listen, there's 4 possessions in the game. We got a 3-point lead. We need 1 stop. Then the game's over because I know Austin and Strick is going to at least hit 1 of the free throws of a if they're in a double bonus. Well, then now you just kind of extend the lead. It might not be 2. It might just be 1. Now the game's over.
There's something we've said, but as we get to break, there's something we've talked about, Jay, is the difference between how difficult it is to get a good shot. But when you have individuals, like you just said, who can get us wherever we want to, anywhere on the court, either for himself or another, it can be the difference in whether or not you win or lose a game.
Man.
Because I'm gonna bank on me making you take more tough shots that you're not gonna make as many of them as us taking good shots,
Right.
because we're able to get you in a crazy rotation,
Right, yeah.
discombobulated.
And if you
take
lose,
advantage,
and if you hit them tough shots, all right, I'm out.
I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Right.
Tip the cap.
I mean,
You hit 'em.
we talked about it just right even before the last break where we were talking about Scotts Bluff. It's like, why you're manning up a team with all of this size, and you're wearing out the guys that you need to help you to get the buckets you need to get, because they're their biggest dogs, and they're the ones that will take the challenge.
Yeah.
So, pack it in.
Cubsker with one more upset pick before we go to break.
Is it
He's
St.
gonna
Patty's
call-
Day?
It is.
Pack it up,
Well-
pack it in. Let me forget. I'm sorry.
Cubsker is calling Liberty over Oregon. Liberty with the highest effective field goal percentage in the country.
I can see that happening.
Of all things. That's another
Oregon better
5-12
get their
game.
uniforms ready.
One more trivia question for $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. This one courtesy of my dad. Thanks for the shout out in the text here, Dad. There's been one team in college basketball history to win the NIT and the NCAA tournaments in the same year. Text in 402-464-5685 with that college or university that won the NCAA tournament and the NIT in the same year. You get $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll be back to wrap up On the Block in a moment.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Isn't new, it's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Biggest question people have is, how do I start the process? What is the process? I want to build a new home, but I don't know what the first step is.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
The first step is make an appointment. Come on into my office. Let's sit around the table. Let's talk about what you're looking for, what your needs are, what your budget might be. And let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost, and get a house that you're going to be happy with. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done. Once you find a good lot, let's get it reserved, because there's a very limited number of lots in this town. And then start designing that floor plan that's going to be perfect for you. Next thing you know, we're moving dirt.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back for one final segment here during On the Block. Final segment, as always, brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Their inaugural season is underway. Get your tickets today to see national champions, national team players, and Olympic champions all compete for Love Volleyball Omaha at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Ralston. Go to lovboma.com for your tickets. Babalu wins the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings, the only team to win the NCAA tournament in the NIT in the same year. City College of New York in 1950 took down Bradley in both championship games. Wild times they lived in. All right, fellas, we'll wrap up the show very briefly with this. This is not your official prediction for who you think is going to make it. But as you look at the bracket, what's your dream Final Four this year? Who are the 4 teams you want to see in the Final Four, even if you don't think it happens? Who you got?
I would do, man, it's hard because I'm looking at the West. I love the way Florida plays, but it'd be pretty cool to see St. John's. So I'll do St. John's, Houston, because I'm going to give a shout out to my man, Money, we used to call him Money, Ramon Walker Jr., starting for H-Town. So I'm going H-Town. H-Town, I want them. I'll do Duke because of Cooper Flag. And I do Auburn because Bruce Pearl. And his quote the other day about his,
you know that's where I'm from. I know you, my boy.
About his guards.
Yeah.
No,
they're not wimps.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was gonna stick to the guns by saying Auburn because the history, the track record of veteran guys, and they're one of the oldest teams in college basketball as far as guys that have been around for a little bit. Their team is just about as old as OKC's team, which is crazy, right? So I'm going to stick with them being one. Definitely would love to see Cooper Flag go out, with a big bang. But let's be honest, I don't think we're going to see a bunch of ones. So let's get into some upset range. Let me throw this at you. Is there a Big Ten team that gets there?
I don't know. Stricky, is there?
See, I'm not going all the ones. I'm gonna say.
You think it's Sparty?
Gonna
they're
say.
with Auburn. Never mind. My bad.
I don't even believe in Clemson like that. I don't like that. I don't like that side.
Is it Purdue's time? Does Illinois get hot? Maryland, crab
Kentucky
5.
Suspect. Tennessee, someone to watch. Look out for either UCLA or Tennessee on that other side.
Ooh.
UCLA?
Ooh.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna throw that Big Ten. Of the Big Ten teams that I think can make it, I'm gonna say UCLA. I don't know why, but I'm gonna say it.
Because you're gonna say it.
They're gonna lock in.
They get it defensively.
I'm not mad if it's an
If they're
all-one
fully
Final
healthy.
Four, but obviously that doesn't happen. So I don't want to go out on a limb and pick that
All
one.
ones are not happening. Maybe in women's.
Maybe
Maybe
there was
in
a lot of
women's.
complaining from a couple of those 1 seed coaches, though, on the women's side.
About what?
Don Staley was mad. She
And
wouldn't know that.
Gottlieb from
About
USC.
where she ended up?
Yeah.
Not the number one.
Not number one overall. Yeah.
Who is number one overall?
Is it USC or UCLA?
I think it was
UCLA?
because USC, South Carolina, and Texas are the other ones. Doesn't matter who else is in the Final Four, though. Duke's winning it all.
Stop crying. Let's go out there and just go beat the brakes off somebody.
How about that?
I don't care where you end up, right? Go get it.
Doesn't matter who you play, matters how you play.
I would use it as fodder. I'm telling my people, this is what they think about us.
Okay.
Go show them.
Eastrick, Jay, Austin, good to have the crew back together for a full show here of On the Block. We'll do it again tomorrow from 3 to 5, brought to you by the Mercado.
Mañana.
For Strick, for Jay, I'm Austin, old school. Here comes your way in just a moment.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 11th annual Street Festival. The party starts